What's up, guys, and welcome back to Project Time Garage. This beautiful specimen here behind me is a 2004 Chevrolet Trailblazer. Now, in this particular vehicle, this doesn't work. This would be your driver's window switch panel, right? You'd think that's what it's called, but it's actually called the driver's door module because it's considered an ECU. We're going to get into that here in a few minutes. So if you're like me and you're just the normal shade tree DIY kind of dude, you're going to bebop down to the local GM dealership because you're a loyal fan of whatever brand you have, and you're going to buy one of those. AC Delco branded, kind of expensive, couple $100. And you're going to come home and you're going to pop the old one out and pop the new one in because it only takes like 2 minutes to change it out or less, not even any screws involved. And then you're going to find that, well, it doesn't work. And if you're like most shade tree guys, myself included, you're going to spend at least some time chasing circuitry and making sure there's power here and fuses are good there until you realize that, oh yeah, this is considered an ECU. And if it gets changed out, it has to be programmed to the vehicle before the damn thing will work. They gotcha. They gotcha. Now, this video is not designed to show you some kind of hack shortcut way around it. Rather, this video is to show you what steps you actually do have to go through if you're the shade tree guy and you're going to get this thing to work in your car, all right? And I'm totally shade tree. I basically work on vehicles either for hobby / fun on this channel, or for family, or for very close friends. Otherwise, this is just my hobby, right? So I'm far from a repair shop. I do not do this for money, period, for anyone. So that classifies me right square into the shade tree / hobbyist, which is where I'm sure a lot of you guys find yourselves too. So what are your options when you find yourself at this crossroads? Well, there's basically two options. The first option is you can take this expensive part you just bought back to the dealership and pay them whatever they want in order to reprogram it, and probably going to leave your vehicle with them a while, probably going to have some time off work. It's ridiculous. The other option is you can program it yourself. Now, that's not going to be the most cost-effective option, I can promise you. Let me show you my setup, what I have to program this, and then I'm going to walk you through beginning to end, from installing the switch to getting a account at AC Delco, to downloading the software, to blowing the flash to the truck, all of that, including what equipment I use to do this kind of stuff. Hey, also guys, before I get involved in this video, hey, listen, if you find this kind of stuff helpful and you enjoyed this video, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel. Down here on the left is a little icon. Click on that, subscribe to my channel. Like I always say, it doesn't cost anything at all. It's completely free. It supports my channel, and it really helps to make content like this free to you guys every week. Also, if you do like the video, then please consider giving me a thumbs up on it. That also helps the video grow and reach more people. Anyway, on with the show. Okay, some of you may find yourself in this situation where when the buttons don't work and the window's down. What do you do in that case? From what I understand, this happens a lot when the windows are down and maybe some rain gets in there or whatever and shorts that control unit out. If that happens, simply go to the passenger side of your vehicle, get your plastic safe pry tool, pop this out, unplug it, walk it right over to the other side, plug in the connections, roll your window up. It'll work for the driver's side, so you can at least get your driver's window rolled back up. Now, Also important to mention that if that module on the other side, on the driver's side, goes bad, all the rest of the windows will still work at their respective doors. So you can take the passenger module, roll up the driver's door, and then, you know, the rest of your windows will work with their own switches. So at least you're not letting your vehicle sit outside in the rain and in the snow and in the heat or whatever. Anyway, wanted to cover that real quick. I'm not going to do it just to save some time. Just suffice to say, that's how you do that. So here we are at the driver's door module, the old broken one. And we turn the key on and nothing. Just like the other module, it's just simply a matter of popping everything loose, unplugging the connections, and then we'll pop the new one in. So there are our connections. Most of these are just squeeze and pull type connectors. Squeeze the blue tab and unplug. Except for this guy here, it has one of those type connectors that you basically just pick up on a little bit and then you can wiggle it loose. So there's our old one. Also, I might note that if you smell this thing, it smells very strongly like burned electronics, like very strongly like burned electronics. Well, curiosity got the better of me on this old switch. I decided to pop it apart and see what the deal was. And check this out. You can see right there, burn mark on this rubber. And right here, it actually looks like maybe there's some liquid damage going on that board. You can see kind of maybe a witness mark where, you know, where something used to be anyway. So I think maybe either something got spilled in this thing or maybe the windows got left down and it rained in it. But either way, that's where the bad smell is coming from. And I'm sure that's why this doesn't work anymore. So at least now we know. So our new module goes in place, hooks up the same way. Okay, there we go. So now this is where things get a little bit interesting. It's plugged in, it's not going to work. So let me show you what you have to go through in order to make it work for the shade tree guy. Disclaimer, this requires some hardware that is a little spendy. So this is an example of what you're going to need in order to get this particular job done. Access to a Windows powered laptop running Windows 10 with 8 gigs of RAM or better. And that's per the AC Delco technical delivery system requirements. And then access to a scanner that is capable of doing this work. Now in my particular instance, I'm running an Autel MS908S Pro. I'm gonna go ahead and put an Amazon link down in the description below for this particular Autel kit. I'll go ahead and tell you it's spendy. And I bought it, and it was an investment for me, right? I do enough of this stuff, and we have enough vehicles floating around that a couple of times of avoiding going to a dealership pays for it. Things like programming proximity keys and immobilizer keys and that kind of thing, where it's $200, $300, $400 a pop. This kind of saves on that. So this would have probably been a $500 or $600 programming thing at the dealership. So each time I use this thing, it gets closer and closer to paying for itself. Anyway, links down there. Should you want it, it's there. Now this scanner is like a lot of other OBD2 scanners. With the exception, it has the ability to do bidirectional communication, meaning that it can read parameters from the vehicles, but it can also write fields back into the different modules of the vehicle. So you can actually do programming to some level with this device. So, but that's not the part of the kit we're going to be using today, because in order to program an ECU, you need this, a JBox or a VIM, vehicle interface module. So basically, the way this thing works is this. I have a cable that plugs from the car into the box, like so. Then I have a cable that goes from the box, also on the other end, into my laptop computer. All right, so we get this thing all hooked up. Now, before we can get to any actual programming, we're going to have to go out to GM's software download service called AC Delco TDS. That's Technical Delivery System or Service. And you have to register for an account there. Now, the account's free to register, and that'll at least get you logged in. So I'm going to pick this up from the point of you already have an account. So if you don't already have an account, go out to acdelcotds.com. Okay, once you get to the technical delivery system and you have your account set up, then it's time to register for a subscription, okay? Basically, it goes from, I think, most expensive to least expensive. So for most of the hobbyists, you're going to use this option here, this Service Programming System SPS2. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to basically purchase the rights to flash software for one VIN number, one vehicle or one VIN number, that it goes by VIN, for 2 years. So when you add that to your cart and you go through and you pay for it, oh, did you think you were done spending money? No. You'll see over here that I have one active subscription, vehicle programming service, 24-month access to program all modules for one VIN number, all right? And we'll be putting that VIN number in here in a few minutes. So let's run through the steps of doing this. Now, this process is gonna install some software on your laptop. It's going to, let's see, it's going to do the Tech2Win suite, the Quick Start suite, TechLine Connect, and the GM Manager, all going to get installed on your laptop as you go. Two things. These are really important. Number one, make sure you have access to the internet from your laptop at all times. Okay, hardwire if you can to make sure nothing weird goes on, or make sure that your Wi-Fi signal is strong before you start this. Thing two, I always put a battery charger on the vehicle while I'm flashing it, because that voltage, the battery voltage, needs to stay at like 13.2 or something like that during this flash. Now, I'm not saying if it drops below it, it's going to break your vehicle, but it's not a chance I'm willing to take. Are you? So, better to be safe than sorry, all right? So, because I don't imagine that GM's going to have a whole lot of sympathy for you when you roll up in there and say, yeah, I bricked my car trying to flash it myself. Okay, just saying. All right, let's get started with this and get it put together. Okay, so here we are on acdelcotds.com. We're going to go up here to the top right and click on Login/Register. And when the box comes up here, we're going to put in our username and password and click on Login. Okay, for the Terms and Conditions agreement, you're going to have to scroll all the way to the very, very bottom of this thing. When you get down there, you can click on the little box to the left, and then you can click on Agree and Continue on the right. Next, we're going to scroll down, and on the right, we're going to click View, and then over on the left, we're going to click Add VIN. So this is going to bring up the TechLine console. Now, if this is your first time using this software, you're going to need to click on Download TechLine Connect there on the left. That's what's going to install all the software we talked about earlier. Once all that software has been installed, we can go ahead and click on Launch TechLine Connect. Now with TechLine Connect launched, let's go ahead and click on Connect Vehicle up there at the top. Now we're going to click on this blue Connect Vehicle button. Now it wants to know how we're going to connect to our vehicle. In our case, it's the MaxiFlash Elite. Make sure that's checked. We'll click Continue. Okay, now up here at the top, we're going to click on this button. And then when this box comes up, we're going to type in the VIN of our vehicle, being sure to get it right. Once you get your VIN typed in, you can just click on Select here. And let's just select our vehicle now. Lots of waiting. So for selected programming process, we're going to do replace and reprogram, because we totally replaced the door switch. Now we're going to go next. We're going to roll down here to driver's door module. For programming, we're going to do normal. Next. And it tells me that this vehicle is going to eat up one of my VIN slots. And what that means is, way back here, when we first went into AC Delco TDS, we have a subscription here for one VIN slot. And basically, that's just telling me that, hey, look, you're about to eat up a VIN slot. You cool with that? I'm cool with that. All right, looks like we have green all the way here. Let's see, okay, so yeah, we should be good to write this. Away we go. And we are writing to the ECU. And it's telling me my VIN subscription has now happened. All right. Now, does our module work? Sure does. Okay, with our new switch in there, all programmed up, we have windows, door locks, and the window interrupt switch. So that's it, guys. See, it's just that simple to replace a window switch in your vehicle. Sadly, more and more vehicles today are requiring that this be done. In fact, I would imagine probably the majority of them require this today. So, you know, it is what it is. I guess it's a sign of the times, call it that. So I hope this helps somebody out. And more than anything, I hope that, you know, some of you DIY guys out there can get some use out of this. And, you know, because I had to learn all this myself too, the hard way actually. Luckily, I just happened to have the scanner and software to be able to make the changes. And I didn't have to go out and buy it specifically for this, because I probably wouldn't have done it for a one-off thing. Anyway, guys, appreciate you watching as usual. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends about us, and I'll see you next time.